911, what's your emergency?
Please help me.
Brock Turner was a privileged jock who thought he could get away with anything.
A slap on the wrist for a privileged white sexual offender at an elite university.
I felt dirty and embarrassed.
She read about herself and what she'd suffered on the internet.
She chose to stay anonymous.
The faceless victim of the evil of this man, 19-year-old Brock Turner.
I mean, that's scary. And I can understand why she wants to protect herself.
Now she is going to court trying to stay anonymous. She said she made one big mistake.
Dressing up in extremely provocative outfits and drinking ridiculous amounts of alcohol. They're setting themselves up.
We think she asked for it.
Just because she was drunk doesn't mean that you can rape her.
You're in the smallest percentage, that few even get reported and even fewer have witnesses. Like, we never get a victim who has evidence. And it's not luck, but it's more than most victims will ever get.
It's enough. Thousands of women voiced their outrage on Twitter.
It became a catch cry for women around the world who felt failed.
It ignited a movement. People were upset.
You should have never done this to me, violating me, forcibly, sexually.
People across the globe were watching what happened. They want justice for the victim.
The world will hear your voice to let all of us know what's happening.
I wake up, I am in a gurney, in a hallway. There's a dean of students and a deputy who tell me that I have been sexually assaulted. I'm completely sure that they have the wrong person. I have no recollection of even interacting with anyone at this party. I asked if I could use the restroom, and when I did, I discovered that my underwear was missing. I also noticed I had blood on the backs of my hands. I knew something was wrong at that point. I wasn't told what state I had been found in, and was sort of just released back into the world and would not hear from anyone for 10 days. And I was at work and I opened up the news, read about the way I was found, how one nipple is out and I'm half naked, and I understood why my hair that morning had been full of debris that I had to rake out. It's like the insides of me just went mute. And only when I went home that night and sat my parents down to tell them did it hit me. The look on my mother's face was so broken open. It instantly registered how terrifying what happened was. And that's when I let go of all that posturing and completely broke down. My knees buckled and my mom just held me. I became extremely withdrawn. I stopped speaking to people. I would go to work and then I would go home and I would cry, and I would wake up and I'd cry and go to work. And I couldn't continue that pattern. Eventually you'll have to testify.
The assailant, Brock Turner, was a projected Olympic athlete from Stanford University, with means to defend himself. Chanel, on the other hand, was anonymous, known only as Emily Doe. And with no memory of the assault, Turner's legal team got to write the script of their star athlete with everything to lose.
I knew that he was guilty. If someone strips you, penetrates you, and sprints away, they're guilty. And over the course of a year and a half, I'd learned to doubt that clarity, to doubt myself. In court, the judge used words like moderate, less serious, to describe the crime. The defense attorney stood before the jury and said, "Chanel knows how you get in blackouts." And that's what she did this night, and many other nights, to be honest. I did not speak. When it happened, I remember asking the detective, "Does this happen a lot?" And he said, "You're in the smallest percentage, that few even get reported and even fewer have witnesses. This is your opportunity." I realized all these doors were opening for me that don't often get open for victims. I had this responsibility. It doesn't matter anymore if I can't work, if I can't sleep. This never happens. There was a chance that justice was waiting at the end. And that was the turning point where I thought, all right, this is it. I'm going to fight for myself. I understand now what they're doing, and I will do everything it takes.
You drew a line.
I drew a line.
It was Brock Turner's father, Dan Turner, who stood up in the court in a character reference for his son. It reads, Brock's life has been deeply altered forever by the events of January 17th and 18th. His life will never be the one that he dreamed about and worked so hard to achieve.
Brock's father complained that the verdict was a steep price to pay for 20 minutes of action.
Calling the rape 20 minutes of action created a firestorm on social media. It just shows the amount of ignorance.
And I'm like, what do you think the woman had to deal with?
Turner was only sentenced to 6 months in prison for his crime. He was a free man within 3.
I was completely in shock.
I felt like I had failed. We had a chance. It's more than most victims will ever get.
Chanel would have to face Brock Turner one last time. She asked the judge if she could read her statement directly to Turner.
You cannot give me back the life I had before that night. I used to pride myself on my independence. Now I'm afraid to go on walks in the evening. It took me 8 months to even talk about what happened. You bought me a ticket to a planet where I lived by myself. There are times I did not want to be touched. I have to relearn that I am not fragile. I am capable. I am wholesome, not just livid and weak. You should have never done this to me. But here we are. The damage is done, no one can undo it, and now we both have a choice. We can let this destroy us. I can remain angry and hurt, and you can be in denial. Or we can face it head on. I accept the pain, you accept the punishment, and we move on. But right now, you do not get to shrug your shoulders and be confused anymore. You do not get to pretend that there were no flags. You have been convicted of violating me, intentionally, forcibly, with malicious intent. Figure out how to take responsibility for your own conduct.
Chanel wouldn't get that acknowledgement from Brock, but her words did spark an immediate response online. One day after Brock's sentence, Chanel's statement went viral. The whole world had read it. The entire statement was read aloud in America's Congress.
You don't know me, but you have been inside me, and that's why we're here today.
It became a catch cry for women around the world who felt they'd been failed.
You don't know me, but you've been inside me.
You were getting cards sent to you from the district attorney. People just wanted to connect with you even though they didn't know who you were.
All the cards just said, "We wish you healing." It was really incredible. One note from a girl named Amanda who said, "For the first time since the incident almost 2 years ago, I feel like I have a voice. I feel weirdly at peace. I am fueled. I can speak. I cannot be silent anymore. The duct tape is off and I will speak. I hope that you have many days where you raise your arms in victory and feel powerful. You earned it. Love, the girl whose suffering has officially ended due to your letter." I learned that everything I've experienced is universal. Every feeling I've had is human. Now I wake up really happy with what I'm doing. I feel like I'm able to finally absorb all the love that was coming in, and that I will continue to strengthen myself because that's what people want for me. We may spend half our time wandering around, wondering what we're even doing here, why it's worth the effort. But living is an incredible thing, just to have been here, to have felt the volume and depth of others' empathy. I wrote most of all to tell you I have seen how good the world could be. Seek whatever you wish to be in life. Speak up when they try to silence you. Stand up when they shove you down. No one gets to define you. You do. On nights when you feel alone, I am with you. When people doubt you or dismiss you, I am with you. So never stop fighting. I am with you.